Only you enter. You brought the money. Put it on the table. And the item. Remove it from the envelope without touching it. Good.
Can you help find her?
Not me. Her. Now, give her the bracelet.
Can I make it to the morning? A new dawn is here. And I'm thinking, as I'm standing, I'll see you here. My eyes closed to awaken my wildest dreams. I fall asleep thinking it's my reality.
My name is Karen Reedy, and I am the niece of Maxine Barnett-Nesbitt. Maxine, our Aunt Mac, is what we call her in the family. She was one of the favorite aunts in the family. She was the person that kind of kept our family together. There were 7 of them. So I had only one aunt. My grandmother had 2 daughters, and the rest were all boys. So I had tons of uncles, but only one aunt on my mother's side of the family. So her and my mom were very, very, very close. They followed each other around the country. My dad was in the military until my mother remarried, which was later in life. But my dad was in the military, and my aunt's second husband was also in the military, and they were really good friends. So whenever my mom would get stationed, or my mom and dad would get stationed in a city, my Aunt Mac would, follow, and they would, be together. So they raised all of the kids together. And Mac's son, Willie, who also passed away from COVID last year. So he was raised with my older brothers and sisters. I'm the baby in the family, the youngest, born in 1975. So my older brothers and sisters were a lot closer to my cousin, Willie, in age, but we all were, very close and spent a lot of holidays and family time together. So Aunt Mac was, as I mentioned, like the backbone of our family. She was the best cook. As long as I can remember, we would always go to her house, or she would either bring food over. She made the best pound cakes. And I don't want to do this crying, so I don't want to.
No, there's nothing. It's the reality. Nothing wrong. I mean, I miss her too. Do you know how much I dealt with my mama crying? That was her best friend. So
Who's your mom?
Benita, Maxine played my mom in the movie Intrusion. And like when they first met, it's just like they were never, like they'd just been friends their whole life. And like my mom's best friend before that, she passed away like a decade ago from like complications and surgery. And then like she got really reclusive. And then Maxine comes up in 2017 when we started filming. And then they were like glue. We started going over there for dinner. We started hanging out. She started cooking. I started having her come over for dinner, and it just became a whole thing. And then went to a couple events together. Then the pandemic happened.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
Yeah. So she made the best pound cakes. And they were always like really, I remember them just being super heavy. Like if you got knocked upside the head with one of them pound cakes, you would be hurt. But they were good. They were moist. They were like, the pieces were like this tall. I'm like, is there even a cake pan that size to make these big ginormous cake? So each layer would be like this thick. So the slice, it was just huge. So I used to always love to go and stay at her house because I knew she would always cook something. My mother was not a great cook. I'm not a great cook either. I try to use cookbooks and things, but Aunt Mac could just cook it from scratch and it would always taste good. And I was always feeding people. I had a birthday party for my daughter here in Houston when she turned 7, and Aunt Mac came down for the party and just to visit. And for the kids, we ordered, I think we had like pizza or something. And for the adults, Aunt Mac was like, well, let's make gumbo. So I was like, okay, sure, let's make some gumbo. And it was so funny because, it was like all ethnicities at the party, Black kids, white kids, and Asian, Hispanic, and their parents. So the parents were like lined up like they were in a soup kitchen, like holding these little bowls to come over and get more gumbo. And we laughed at one of the parents because it was one little white man. And like he came in that line probably like 4 times to get, refills on the gumbo. But it was really, really good. It had the shrimp and the crab legs and chicken and sausage. And, she made it from scratch. And, she always, would do things like that. But we were very close. We spent, a lot of time together. I talked to her just about every day. And after she passed away, like I would hear from other family members and some of her friends, and they would say, yeah, I talk to your Aunt Max every day, and she would call me every day. And I'm like, okay, if you talk to her every day, and I know she called me, just about, if not every day, twice a day or more than once a day. She talked to my sister, my cousins, my uncle's ex-wives, her friends, my cousin. I'm like, okay, well, how did she have time to talk to all of these people like every day? So it was like, kind of funny that, everyone has the same sentiments of, the daily calls and conversations. And, it wouldn't be nothing really to talk about every single day, but we would just laugh. She was so funny. Like she would just have me and my fiance just laughing and like just thinking of some of the things that she would say even now. It is just, brings a smile to my face to be able to, have those memories and, the amount of time that we were able to have. And, the whole thing with, this virus and how many people have to go through, what my family went through last year to lose, what for people to have to go through what my family had to go through last year to lose, so many people that really didn't have to be lost. It's very infuriating, to say the least, because, we definitely, a lot of this could have been avoided if the virus was taken, more seriously when it first got here. And we would talk about, my aunt and I would talk about the virus and how scared she was of, just being around people and having people come over and, going places, and because I invited her here, like, well, hey, just come, to Texas and, just stay here with us for a little while. No, I don't want to come out there, babes, because, that virus, I'm scared to get on a plane. I'm scared of the virus. And, she did everything possible not to, get the virus. And for that to be, what happened and the reason she's not here, it just really makes me, upset, because it just didn't have to happen. And I know that, people say if it wasn't God's will, then, nothing can happen that isn't his will. And I do understand that. So that's the only, solace. I know everyone has a purpose in life, and once your purpose is fulfilled, then, your work is done. But I just can't help to feel, slighted, because she had a lot of life left in her. We had a lot of plans. We had just started, we filmed her first YouTube video. So we came up with an idea, because she told the best stories. And I had been trying to document her stories for years, and I just didn't get around to it. I don't live there. And then when she comes here, so I do have some video of her, like, just talking to me about different stories and different things. So I was like, well, what we could do is put it on YouTube, and then, other people can see it. And so I was like, we got to come up with a cool name. We can't call it, the lady from Louisiana, because that's like common. Like, what's something else that's more catchy? And the parish where she's from in Louisiana is Calcasieu Parish. So we came up with, let's call it the lady from Calcasieu. So we filmed one episode, and I was trying to show her, like, on her phone, how to go back and do it. So if you go to YouTube and you upload the video, or you hit record, and then you save it, and then you let it process, and then you name it, and things like that. But she just wasn't the best with technology and things like that. So she ended up like, well, just, when the virus is over and you come back, we'll film more. And I was like, okay, cool. But we did get the one video, and I've shared it online, but she talked about colorism in the Black family and inside of your own family. And, things that she dealt with when she was growing up, because she was a dark-skinned person. And our family, like many families in the South, are mixed with different, we have white, we have Irish, we have French and Creole. So some of, my great-grandfather's family is white. So, his side of the family, they're very fair-skinned. And my grandmother was fair-skinned, and, my great aunts and uncle. So it was kind of a thing back then. So in that specific video, she talks about her grandmother, which is my great-grandmother, and how she treated her, which was, unfairly, because she was the darker of the siblings, her and my uncle. And the rest of my uncles were light skinned. So my great grandmother was very nice to the light skinned kids, but she wasn't so nice to the darker skinned kids. So that's the video that's on YouTube. And that's the only one that, we were able to get around to do. But we were making a list of, like, all the different stories that she could tell on the Lady from Calcasieu YouTube channel. So, it's a big loss to my entire family. As I mentioned, she was the person that kind of kept everyone together. So since she passed away, what we've started to do is we meet on Sundays at 6:00. We have family in California, Louisiana, Texas, and Georgia, of course, for the most part. And there's people sprinkled in, different places as well. But we meet and we're working on our family tree. And before she passed, probably 2 years ago, my daughter and my aunt went over the family tree with as much information that she had to provide. So we have a lot of information already. So now it's just, validating and trying to find or reach out and contact family members that we haven't met or that we haven't, we don't have a lot of information about. But she kind of led the charge on that, and she kept up with everybody. So if you needed to know about like how anyone in the family is doing, all you have to do is call a Mac, and that's so and so's son, or that's such and such. Okay. We'll keep. Can I put I wish I could just shut my phone off so that people can quit bothering me. Like, it's so weird. I'm surprised that Zoom doesn't have that feature to put your phone on like do not disturb.
Yeah, they don't have that yet. They may have had it with the I didn't log into my paid account. I could have probably saw if it did that, but I'm gonna chop it up anyway. This has to be chopped, so you're good.
Okay.
Wait, I have you talking now. I've already marked in my head, but I'm gonna edit it. Oh, you have somebody that's calling you again?
Hold on. Hello? Hello? Hello?
You want to text him for a minute?
I'm just gonna block her. No, I'm just gonna block her because she just keep calling and calling. And then when you pick up the phone, they don't say nothing. Like, that's even more annoying. How do I?
Yeah, I really wish she didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mama Max, she was really important. Like that was my first role I did in the movie. And she saw how nervous I was. And she like stopped me. She's like, come here. And she sat there on the couch and talked with her for a minute. And she's like, this is your first time doing this. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you sweating? You look so nervous in your face. She's like, well, just calm down. You said, you know what you have to say? You wrote it. And I said, yeah, but it's a little different when you're acting. She's like, just be yourself. Be a better version of yourself in acting. Kind of put yourself. She gave me the insight to put myself in the mindset to think of who I was, because the story is basically therapy for me, because it was like a very small part of my high school experience. I kind of just took and expanded, and yeah, she was the perfect person. It's like she walked right in my life. It's like the whole project started coming together as soon as she got involved, because I was having trouble getting consistent actors to do the same role. And people would drop right before the day before, and I'm like, what is going on? Should I just give up and do something else? But she said no. She's like, this is just how it works sometimes. She said, you'll find the right people and it'll come together. And when she said that, it was about 2 weeks later we were filming. But yeah, so
that's good. Which was it? What?
This is Intrusion. This one was
it a movie?
It's a short film, and she was the she was played my mother. I was the lead, and we had a protagonist, and there was more people in the movie, but she had a really strong part in it because like my mother has a strong role in my life, anyways. So and then that's when she met my mom when she came over to my house, my mom's house, and that was it. The rest was history. They started talking every week and hanging out, and were good friends. But yeah, this was just all kind of hit random. I remember when her son was in the hospital because they were talking that whole time while things were going on, and then I remember the one day I came home, my mom said that she's in the hospital now and she has it, and like we just both looked at each other, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" But and then yeah, and that made me sad because like she never got to see the premiere of this, so I feel like it's my duty to make sure that we honor her with this project, because if it wasn't for her, I think I would have stopped the project just because of all the ins and outs you deal with the people. Even after they sign the contract, people still just, what time am I supposed to be to set? Just crazy questions like it's not in their email. And, she was like, this is just what you deal with on this level. But she said, this is just the first phase. She said, you're just going to get what you're going. And, she was the reason that this project successfully happened. And I saw it all the way through was because of Maxine.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So we're going to air it on YouTube June 4th, which I'm going to send you an email with all the information in it. We'll do a Facebook watch party for it. And
oh, good. Okay.
YouTube Live and a Facebook watch party for it. So it can be streamed through and it'll be streamed through the site. And but this is going to be shown twice. This will be shown as promotion for the film, but really not really promotion for it. It's just like an inclusion of it. And then we'll show it minutes right before the film airs. We'll have everyone talk because it's you in here. We have the director talking, Kathy talking. We have a few of the other actors in the film talking about Maxine and everything. So I'm just piecing this together. You're like one of three more people I have to get. And I'll be able to completely edit the whole thing. It's definitely looking really good. It's important because, like I said, if it wasn't for her, this film would not have been seen all the way through. So we are here to honor Maxine the best way we can.
And I really appreciate the opportunity and to be able to do this. And she was very instrumental and influential in helping other actors in the area, which these are things that I found out after she passed away. Because again, I live in Houston, so when we're talking, it was more about what's going on with our family and who's doing what and what we need to do and when we're going to see each other. And she would mention like things about her plays that were coming up, or a movie. I'm in a movie, I'll send you the link, or I'll send you the dates and things like that. But we didn't talk a lot about like the different people that she was working with, or things that she was doing. So it was news, which was, it was a pleasant news to find out all how she impacted other people. And because she loved acting, like that was her, she's been doing that since the 80s. So, and I think even before that, like even before that, like in the 70s, she had started like doing plays in different cities before she moved, or finally ended up in Augusta. So that was, it just touched me to know, how much of a blessing that she's been to our family, just all that she's taught me and, provided for us, to be able to see that she did that for other people, that, makes me feel good about, who she was and, what she represented.
Yeah, she had a very big impact on the Augusta community. Everyone knew who she was. Everyone in the area. So like, I actually ended up getting her to play the role after two ladies fell out of nowhere. Someone told me that was an extra in the film, just an extra. He was like, I know someone, and he gave me her information, and I hit her up, and we ended up chatting on the phone, and I went over there to meet her, and the rest was history. She said she would love to, and she read through the script, and everything made sense. It just, I feel like the best things turn out like that, you know?
Yeah.
When everything just, you feel like sometimes when you keep trying, and then you're like, is it worth it? And then things start falling into place when the right person comes along. Maxine's been that person for a lot of people in the area. A lot of actors, producers, playwrights, a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like really awesome. Yeah. So she was, I guess if you think of a queen or like like the leader, that's like who she represented for us. And if there was a dispute, because it's just like any other family, people, would have arguments or issues or problems, we would always call her. Well, I'm going to tell A Mac. Well, I'm going to call A Mac and tell A Mac. And we would call her and she would, come down with a decision. And, we didn't go against her, like, y'all need to cut that out, or, why don't you just go home and leave it alone, and we all respected her, and we all, each one of us had that level of understanding whenever she would, give us direction on something to do. So, and I miss her so much. Like, it's, she became like my mom, after my mom passed in 2010, which was, a hard thing to deal with. But, we all had a Mac. My mom had 6 kids. So we all naturally gravitated towards Aunt Mac for the last, 10 years. Whenever things came up or we needed to talk to someone, it was always her. And when my uncles passed, that was hard as well. My mom's brother, or Aunt Mac's brother. But we still had Aunt Mac, so we, would gravitate towards her. So now that she's not here, it's like, someone has to fill the gap. And one of the things that I'm realizing is, as in our mid 40s, which I thought, I still think I'm young, but I guess not so much these days. But we are the generation that will need to like take over and lead the family, as our, elders, our aunts and parents and grandparents are not here anymore. It is our responsibility to, fill those gaps and, provide that leadership and guidance for, for our younger generation. So that's something that I'm, taking wholeheartedly to try to do, again, with the meetings that we have each week and pulling the tree together and finding people so that I can, kind of keep the communication moving forward in the spirit of what my Aunt Mac would be doing if she was here.
Yeah, she was very important, and I want to thank you for sharing this, and you giving us a lot to work with, and hey, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone that's supported and watched Intrusion. This film was my very first as an actor, and I was graced with the opportunity to be with the wonderful Maxine Nesbitt. She played my mother, and this interview meant a lot to me, if not the most this year, because this was opportunity to talk with her family and get to know a little bit more in depth about such a wonderful person and how she brought so much light into the room, whatever room she went in, and how she made a huge impact on my life personally. But if you haven't seen Intrusion, I suggest that you guys, I wish and pray that you guys will go check it out. It's a great short film. Dive into the life of Louie and his mom and see where things led for him. But once again, thank you everyone and much love. And as you continue to watch, we have so much more coming out with ELIME. Thank you.